Hello and welcome to Rappler Talk Entertainment. I'm Gelo Gonzales. Today, we take a look at Cinemalaya 2024 entry, Kono Basho. Kono Basho tells a tale of two estranged sisters who reunite at their father's funeral in Japan, where they end up forging a bond to heal their personal wounds. It's a story about family, grief, identity, and renewal. Here to tell us more are its director, Jaime or Jay Pacena II, a visual artist who's making his directorial debut with the film, and indie film actor Gabby Padilla, who was a Best Actress nominee last year at the Gawad Urian Awards for her role in Gitling. So Jay, for all the audience tuning in now, wondering what... Say hi.
Hi.
What's up? Hello.
So Jay, for all the audience tuning in right now, wondering what Kono Basho is all about. Do tell us a little more about the film and what can viewers expect from...
Aside dun sa nabanggit mo, it's about the two sisters. It's also about the city, no? A city that is actually rebuilding. So naka-juxtapose dun yung connection ng dalawang magkapatid. So aside from these two estranged sisters meeting at the funeral of their shared father, basically it's about grief, di ba? Pero it's also about this concept of, two particular individuals that were affected by Filipino diaspora. Because one was left behind and another one is actually, who grew up in a city na knowing that she's basically half, no?
Yeah.
And all of this, yung underlying na context nun, merong pang isang basically a character, which is Rikuzentakata, that speaks about the loss. No? Parang ganun din. No? Siya rin, nawalan and still rebuilding. So, in this particular film, yun yung gusto ko sanang ikwento. And what the audience would expect, it's not a kind of your typical kind of drama. No? Hindi siya yung typical. Hindi siya yung masyadong sumisigaw. It's really a lot of contemplation, the deeper layer of grief in a sense, no.
It's a drama, but it's a quiet drama.
Yes, it's a quiet drama. It's something that I also basically experienced sa buhay ko, and at the same time yun yung isang observation ko dun sa city, no? A city that is actually hindi sila loud in a sense, no. Parang makikita mo grieving and rebuilding and reforming, pero nandun yun eh. Pero makikita mo sila tahimik on their own daily lives, and that inspired me. No? That really inspired me to write the story. So, yun. Hopefully the audience would be able to accept the fact that it is something different, the kind of drama that will not be pushing you a lot in terms of making you cry. It's not my intention to make you cry. My intention is to make you really feel the two characters and how they basically share the grief of losing somebody and at the same time meeting for the first time, being together in this particular place and situation. So
yeah. Yung quietness na yun, was that something unique to the city that's why it stood out to you?
Yep. Compared to Tokyo, Rikuzentakata is very, parang, kung ang Tokyo sa gabi in the particular areas are quiet, no? Yung Rikuzentakata quiet in the whole time, especially dahil nga it's mas probinsya siya, north side. And lalo na when I started witnessing it, lalo na pagdating sa gabi, kasi nga, basically wala na yung city, no? It's rebuilding. So, yeah, it is generally quiet, yung lugar. Peaceful, calm. Yun nga yung ano doon yung parang kakaiba. Kasi kala mo pag calm and quiet, okay eh. Pero basically it's not.
Yeah.
It's the same for human beings na pagka merong dinadamdam, nakakala mo okay lang siya kasi hindi naman siya nagsasalita or diba, parang dahil kalmado lang, pero basically meron palang pinagdadaanan. No? So, it's something like that.
Yeah, still waters run deep.
Yeah, of course.
And parang you notice that calmness, but you were feeling that that powerful sense of grief, even
Yes.
though the setting was quiet. Okay. Yeah, and so Gabby, so you're one of the half sisters here,
Yeah.
Ella. What can you tell us about your character, and what do you think makes her a memorable character for the audience?
So Ella is a Filipina anthropologist based in Manila. And the movie starts off, she decides that she is flying to Rikuzentakata to sort out her father's affairs and also to attend his funeral. But really it's such a pivotal moment for her because she also has a lot of stuff going on in her personal life. So Ella was having a rough month. It was a rough month for Ella. But really, it was her navigating her grief, but also meeting this sister that she has completely no relationship with, and learning about her father in a way that she hasn't had the chance to when he was still alive. Because dun siya nabuhay sa Japan. So imagine getting to know someone, a primary figure in your life, not knowing who he was, and seeing him living this full life with all these people, meeting his friends and loved ones there, and coming to terms with that life na he didn't share with you. So that's her struggle, being there, navigating her grief, and then connecting with this sister na the only thing she has in common is their dead father, and trying to find solace in each other eventually. So, yeah.
So it's like this character who finds herself in a completely new world, but
Completely
then
new world.
there's
Fish
also
out of
this
water.
deep connection to
Yes.
that, right?
Yes.
So, what was your approach in tackling that kind of character? What experiences did you draw from? I mean, not talking about the grief yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it really helped to be in Rikuzentakata because it's such a magical place. When you're there, it is quiet and solemn and still, but you do feel the leftover grief and the rebuilding that the community has been doing since they've been hit. But also, as an artist, I feel like, and this is true for you also, if I may assume, direct, that a lot of what we go through in life informs our work and our art. So having been through grief myself, I think that really helped me step into the shoes of Ella and get a head start into what it would feel like to lose someone who is important. Yeah.
Okay. So the two sisters were finding solace in each other. Where do you think people in Rikuzentakata were, getting solace from? Just from the community?
Yeah,
Was there that big sense of community there?
That's one thing that I noticed when I stay there as an artist in resident for several years that I go back and forth. It's really about the people. It's not about the tragedy. It's not about it's really about the connection of each particular people. Imagine your city was wiped out,
Yeah.
and then when we came there, when the first time that they came there, they were actually relocated to a lot of different parts where it's higher, ganyan. So they were displaced in their own natural city, and then they were displaced in several pockets.
Almost like a domestic diaspora.
Yeah, parang ganyan. Oh.
Yes.
So, tapos they try to build their own community there. And very, very sa kanila yun very, makikita mo talaga sa kanila na they want to connect. No, they have that particular common area that they meet every breakfast. No, they share coffee, ganyan. Tapos, they do their daily lives na after. No? And meron silang sense of parang hindi proudness, it's more of really sense of responsibility sa sarili nila that they want to really move forward sa sarili nila together and helping each other. Kasi kung hindi sila okay, paano nila matutulungan yung ibang tao? So, very important sa kanila yung connection and connecting with people. And that's one of the things that I really noticed.
Yeah.
And when I was there, I looked for somebody na makaka-relate ako lalo. So I looked for the Filipino community and I found one. Of course, in saan ba makikilala at matatagpuan ng mga Pilipino kundi sa Catholic Church. So I looked for a church and then I found one. And then doon ko sila nakita at nakilala, doon ko sila nakausap. No, so
This Filipino community was also part of the victims of the...
Yes, they were
Okay.
part of. Some of them, they lost their houses. Some of them, they lost their families. So, yung iba sa kanila, when I met them, nakatira sila sa temporary residences. So, yun.
And it's interesting that they were looking for strength from the church pa rin.
Yun pa rin eh. And
How were they? How was the Filipino community there?
Well,
Were they optimistic?
Yeah, I think generally they were optimistic. They were really... in general, yung mga tao, isa sa mga napansin ko nga is that maybe because they are... Hindi sila... In a way, the struggles that they encountered and yung pinagdadaanan nila during that time, somehow tinulungan sila ng government. The government provided them shelter for 5 years for free and everything. So they just needed to make sure that they are mentally and emotionally, okay. So merong mga tumutulong sa mga tao doing consultation and everything, mga ganyan.
Yeah, that's
And
really
they help
great if
each
you get
other.
government help. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Of course. So isa yun sa mga kumbaga for them, iisipin nila yung well-being nila. And ang nangyari nun, when they were thinking of their own well-being, they also think of, yung building a community is much more easier, I think. And there were a lot of people going there. Kahit kami, when we went there, they were very welcoming because para sa kanila, they really, parang they enjoy that connection.
And they became such a big part of the film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As in, they really helped us out with so much, and we learned so much about the community pa from them. So,
Okay.
yeah.
And even Arisa, meeting them was really, where we have this one particular scene that there was a lot of Filipino food prepared by the Filipino community, and Arisa was really enjoying the food
culture,
props and the culture of eating a lot of
Yeah.
this food, and it's actually a homage to them. So that particular scene that you will see in the film is actually, it's a homage to the Filipino community and to Arisa's concept of finding her Filipino roots, her identity.
Mhm.
So
Okay. For those wondering why you know so much about the community, right? It's because you spent a part of your life, several years in actually Rikuzentakata as
Rikuzentakata,
a
in Iwata.
visual artist and a
curator.
curator. You probably talked about this a little bit already, but tell us more. How did your time there inform and shape the eventual ideas for this film?
So
I mean, you were seeing the community, you were just immersing yourself, but then those ideas started to come about. How did that happen?
well, nung time na nag-spend ako sa Rikuzentakata several years, it's really just about immersing myself to a place na may pinagdadaanan nga. No? And walang intention of really creating anything during that time. It was just the concept of going back and forth in Rikuzentakata to understand how the city is reforming and rebuilding. So what I did since 2013, I just documented a lot of things. So parang innate sa akin yung mag-document, mag-take ng videos, photos, and everything, without really knowing where I will put all of this. It was just archiving. It's something that I really value, yung pag-archive ng mga bagay-bagay. And then, when I started writing the Kono Basho, when I wrote it, it became part of the script.
What year did you start writing?
2019.
Okay.
So I started writing in 2019 and developed it under Ricky Lee Script Writing Workshop 2020 during the pandemic. Tapos naisip ko, sabi ko, what I would really like my story, gusto ko maging authentic siya. So paano nga? Paano ko papakita yung past? Paano ko papakita yung mga nakita ko? And I started writing the archives, putting the archives in my story. And ngayon, mapapanood nyo siya. It is part of the film now. So there's this particular part wherein merong sa simula at saka bandang gitna and bandang dulo that you will actually see the archive materials, the images that I took way back 2013. It became part of how I told the story. So yun yung naging pivotal moment on how I used my research before.
Okay.
Literally putting the past clips in this particular film, not as a documentary but more of a poetry. So yun, ganun siya. Para siyang it is actually in a way pang suggesting that it was the father who took all of these things.
I see.
So
did you get to see all those?
Yeah,
those,
it was
that's
very
that part of the
moving.
process of creating the character for her.
Yeah.
You showing, oh, this is
part of
Rikuzentakata.
it, she was actually holding it. No?
Yeah. Ella spends a lot of that because Ella as a character is also so fascinated by, as an anthropologist na naman, she's very fascinated by what this community has been through. And so that archive material played a really big role in that learning. And even as an actor naman, learning about the community as well and just getting the context of who they are as a people really helped. And it was also just beautiful the way he shot.
Was that deliberate for her to be an anthropologist?
Yeah, when I was developing the story and the character of Ella, I wanted the character na mausisa, and at the same time, it's a push for her to decide why she will go to a place na matagal niyang iniiwasan. So it's something that really pushed her as well. And at the same time, the curiosity nga is there. It was inspired by a good friend of mine, and parang yung character ni Ella, ni Gabby dito, ganun siya parang mas
Logical.
tapos mausisa siya. And she's not the type of person that will just say things out loud without context. No? Parang it's more of really observing and then, yun, ganun siya. So mas mausisa siya.
And I feel like as a way for her to deal with her grief, she needed to look at it through the lens of logic instead of emotion. Because as a act of self-preservation, I guess. So those are the things that are going on inside of Ella.
So she's a more logical
Yes,
character. In this
yes.
sense. Okay. Just going back to Rikuzentakata. So you experienced Rikuzentakata when it was rebuilding. And then you came, how was it when you came? Was it still in that process of processing that grief, still rebuilding? Or
I'm sure they're always going to be rebuilding. It's just such a devastating thing to happen, and it'll always be there. It will always be a part of who they are. But by the time I got there, they already had built like a monument around the ruins of where it was badly hit. And in fact, we shot there. So that in itself was very moving. And they're moving forward. They haven't moved on, but they moved forward. And they're hopeful na, there's life after this this terrible tragedy. So I think it was fitting to tell that story with to be in a place like Rikuzentakata and tell that story.
yes. So direct, I was experienced pala of transitioning from visual artist to director.
Ang background ko rin kasi, I started as a music video director as well.
Okay. So you already had that background. Okay.
So I direct music videos and advertising videos. Mostly music videos during the time. No? So, dream kong gumawa ng pelikula. But I always, kumbaga, takot ako eh. So, I don't want to create something na feeling ko hindi ko pakaya or ano. So, it was really a push for me. Pero sabi ko, ang pangarap ko talaga is when I do my first film, I would like to write it. Ang problema, hindi ako marunong magsulat. So I started learning how to write a script. So, and that pushed me a lot. And
How did you learn?
I started, initially I just started writing and creating, and then I attended, actually hindi ko alam kung nabanggit ko na kay Directonet, but I started attending workshops. So I attended Directonet's Rebelde class before and talk ni Direct Dan. No? So, alam ko sa sarili ko na gusto kong matuto. Tapos, I always try to kumbaga mag-apply sa Ricky Lee scriptwriting workshop. And then, pandemic time, I think it was a very helpful moment for me during that time. Kasi April kami nagsimula. So,
Sakto
after
pandemic.
lockdown, no, sakto. So mentally, natulungan kaming magproseso ng mga nangyayari sa paligid to just, be creative about sa mga nangyayari nung time na yun. Wala kang magagawa, nasa loob ka lang. So, naging malaking tulong yon. Talking to a lot of writers as well, aspiring writers or writers. You get comments from writers. You talk to different directors about what you wrote. So you learn a lot. Tapos after that, I still developed it and pushed myself. Tapos sabi ko, one big push will be Cinemalaya kung makakapasok ako. Kasi sabi ko, kung hindi ko ito itutuloy, then wala akong opportunity. People will not listen to me. Na wala pa naman akong ano eh. So, it was really me pushing myself more and more. Tapos fortunately, yun, umabot kami dito.
And seeing the film now, how does it feel? Is it how you envisioned your first film to be?
Well, yung ano ako eh, parang go with the flow of the ocean. Connect natin sa ocean.
Connect natin sa waves, ano.
Parang nagpadaloy lang talaga ako. So, hinayaan ko yung sarili ko to lumubog, lumitaw, ganyan. So, gano'n eh. Literally, gano'n eh. So, hindi ito yung ina-expect kong una, but I was not really expecting this big. No? Parang, ang ina-expect ko nga lang, basta matapos ko yung sulat, and then I try to do this. Nag-grow at nag-evolve yung story and yung pelikula. I mean...
Kailan shoot yung film pala? Anong year?
This year.
Ano to lang talaga?
Yeah.
Okay.
So when I started writing it down to the point that I was developing it, iba pa. Ang una kong sinubmit pa sa Cinemalaya is Ella's character is a male character. Si Errol.
Okay.
And then I saw Cinemalaya, Gitling, and then I saw Gabby. Gitling was very, inspiring. Natakot ako kasi sabi ko, baka isipin ng tao, it was just a reverse.
Yeah.
Kasi nga, lalaking Hapon, tapos babaeng Filipina, and then sa akin naman, babaeng Hapon, tapos lalaking Filipino. So I started developing it to this direction. So without knowing that Gabby will be the main Ella. No? So, it was really fate. Sabi ko paulit-ulit yun eh. So yun, nag-develop at nag-evolve na siya differently. And I'm really happy kung anong meron kami.
With how it's
Pinaligiran ako ni Direk Dan ng sobrang awesome ng mga tao. As in, sabi nila, first film mo, kinakailangan, somebody, all of the people around you will be able to help you create your vision. So, ang role ko lang talaga is to make sure that I am focused on everything that I need to decide on as the director and writer.
No, it's still also harnessing the power of the community.
Yes, it is. Right? So, maraming taong tumulong. The team was very helpful and awesome guy. I mean, awesome is the word that I would like to use kasi grabe yung I mean, kung hindi diligay ni Direk Dan yung mga taong to, I think hindi ko magagawa to ng maayos. So it was really special for me. And grateful ako doon kila Direk Dan and Direk Tonel.
Yeah.
That's amazing to hear. And speaking of Gitling, Gabby, you played opposite a character who's a Japanese filmmaker in Gitling, right? Now in Kono Basho, you have a Japanese half-sister. Why are you always being paired up with a Japanese character?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not complaining. They're very wonderful to work with. I mean, the team that Direk was talking about also extends to our production team. They're also a mix of Japanese and Filipino in the crew. So I'm not complaining. I love working with Japanese people. I feel like as a people, they're very hardworking and considerate and thoughtful and it's always a gift to be able to work with them in any capacity, whether here or there or
anywhere.
Learning their language.
Yeah. Oh yeah, did you get to expand your Japanese speaking skills there?
No, actually for
Ella,
she doesn't speak Japanese. So she had so I had to be like, I don't know how to say arigato.
That must have been the toughest part of the character. Speaking not to Okay, yeah. So jokes aside, in the film, a father's funeral stands as this gravitational force. It pulled you and your half-sister together. In another interview, you talked about your experience of losing your own father a few years ago. So you dealt with really strong emotions, but all in all, you said it was cathartic.
Yeah.
How did you go about handling those very strong emotions and trying to create something beautiful and trying to portray Ella?
Yeah. I felt like in order to tell the story of Ella, I had to resubmerge myself in that darkness. And it was challenging. Again, I say that what we go through in life informs the kind of work that we do. But I was so lucky to be surrounded by a team that handled the material, the nature of the story with so much respect, and they were very gentle with me and with the story that we were telling. So even if I did feel like I had to revisit certain things in my life to be able to do justice to Ella's story, I didn't feel like I had to navigate that alone, because I felt like they were there to process it with me. And so in the same way that Ella is kind of grasping in the dark, trying to reach out to someone that she can kind of anchor herself to, that's what the team was to me as well. And that's also why we were kind of able to tell this story. It's not that, grief is a big part about it, but I think more than that, the story is about connecting with people and finding another person in the dark who is in the same position as you and going towards the light together. So that's why it's been such a healing and cathartic experience.
Okay. Was it when you first read the script or before you accepted the role, was it something you considered like, am I really ready for this kind of role?
Oh, yeah.
Because I have to revisit something that was very sad for me, right? So,
yes, definitely. That's something I had to consider. But at the same time, I feel like we go through these things in our lives, and if there's one thing that we can do with it, it's to make something beautiful out of it. So I'd rather use that grief, use that trauma or tragedy to make something like Kono Basho. So.
and after making the film, after finishing the film, do you feel like you've processed the grief further?
Oh, further, yes. I
'Cause you
feel
had
like
to
there were a
revisit
lot
it,
of things na shelf ko because I thought, we'll shelf this, we'll bookmark this, we'll revisit it, and then I had to revisit it during the process of doing this, and it was illuminating, and it was good. I felt like there were a lot of like emotional milestones throughout the shoot, and I also feel like I've gotten to know myself better, and the team has also gotten to know me in that way.
So it's life imitating art and art imitating.
Yeah, isn't that
life
just
in
the
some ways.
way?
Yeah. Is Ella the most challenging job you've had so far? Ranking
I don't know how you can compare, because they all come with their own sets of challenges. So I wouldn't say most challenging, but very challenging, yes, definitely. But that's what makes her so fulfilling, the whole experience so fulfilling. So it wasn't, I wouldn't say most challenging, but definitely was. I had to reach and tap into certain parts of me that I haven't in a while. So, but again, that's just what makes it special and fulfilling now.
Okay. Derek, how did you help Gabby navigate through those
Well,
feelings?
one of the things that I really learned from making this, kasi nga this is my first.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of learnings from me. Hinanda ko yung sarili ko in terms of this, but when you are there na, lalo na sa mga eksena, and when you deal with actors, and when you deal with a scene that is very sensitive and medyo critical, sometimes you get overwhelmed as well. Especially during the time that we were doing nasa pang 5th or 4th day namin yon of working every day, and then we have that particular scene, and then medyo na-overwhelmed din ako nung time na yun.
Okay.
But good thing nga, katulad ng sinabi namin kanina, the team was there, and Direk Dan was really not just a cinematographer and producer, but a mentor and
As a guide talaga.
oh, he was really guiding me and guiding the actors as well, para matulungan yung mga eksena. At the same time, not just the scene, but more importantly, we understand that this is just, this is a role, this is just working for a scene, but then we have to take care of each other, we are here for each other, parang ganun. So that's how we try to nurture each particular process. So malaking bagay. After nga nung isang eksena this is very critical at the same time very medyo
Delicate,
mahirap
yeah.
delicate. So we had to I understand that we got the shot but we don't want to push it further. Yun na yun tapos na, okay. Tapos we needed to debrief it, you know.
Yeah.
So and then going up I was going up to Gabby's kung saan siya nandoon nagstay. Huminga muna ako malalim together with my assistant director. Kasi sabi ko sa kanya medyo parang na-overwhelm ako. I mean, maybe yun, ganun. And they were, she was there. Kaming dalawa lang. Sabi ko, ako muna i-debrief mo bago na umakyat sa taas.
Ano yung sort ng debriefing?
It's more of really just making sure
Talking
that we
lang talaga.
understand that we are working. You know, parang, kasi when you get into a scene, you feel that you're there. So,
Tapos mahirap bumitaw minsan.
mahirap bumalik.
So just like, they were really reminding me na parang, okay, we're gonna set this aside now, you're gonna have to let this go. Because it's hard to kind of walk away from it. And we had scenes to shoot after that were not related to this one.
Okay.
So we really had to look at emotional post-mortem na parang, okay, we're gonna walk away from this and we're gonna put this in our pocket for now.
Parang kahit cut na, andun ka pa din sa lugar na yun, emotionally.
Yeah.
Especially the
Kailangan mo
actors.
mag-zoom out.
Yes.
So it's really a partnership. That's one thing that I learned from that. It's really a partnership. You don't lead your actors like that. Parang hindi to trabaho lang. It's really you're working with human beings and you know.
There are personal experiences
Yes,
involved and real emotions involved.
Yeah.
So
What do you think the film might add to our knowledge of grief and in dealing with it? The film sees the two half-sisters forming a bond eventually out of something painful, and why was that the story you wanted to tell about grief?
personally, it's something that is close to my life and kumbaga sa puso ko. There's a lot of things that happened like a tsunami na parang bigla ka na lang dadalhin into a different, you know, it's gonna displace you into a different
Parang may
emotional
mga
state.
personal tsunamis tayo.
Parang ganun lahat naman tayo. And I always remember the time that pag nandun ka kasi sa lugar na yun or sa posisyon na yun, minsan tanungin ka lang ng kumusta ka, hindi mo masagot I mean, hindi ka makakasagot ng maayos. So, it is something that I would really like to kumbaga explore or at least gusto ko siyang usisain and how I would be able to understand it further. Ang pelikula na to, ang sinasabi ko nga, it's like a warm hug that you don't really want pero you might need. So, yun siya. And sometimes people feel that pag sinabi mong grief, mag-isa ka lang. Parang, for this particular film, I would really like to emphasize na you find connection and solace in the most peculiar or different or, you know, unexpected way. Or people that you feel na hindi naman pero
Strangers.
strangers, no. So yun, ganun, no? So it is something that I would really like to tell.
Communicate.
Not just those who are in that condition or position, but also directly talking to the city.
Yeah.
Talking to Rikuzentakata as a place that, you know,
Has been through that.
has been through that. So, yun.
So parang grief isn't really something that goes away completely, right? And it's in the YouTube trailer nga, parang it's just something that you just sit with, learn to
Yes.
sit with.
Washes over you.
Let it wash over you. Right. Okay, so talked about Ella, so now let's talk about Arisa Nako. What's her character's name in the film?
Reina.
Reina. Okay, so Reina, Ella is logical. Reina is what's the dynamic? How is she different from
Observant din si Reina but more of really because she has this particular trauma and very specific to the place. And at the same time, she grew up in a country wherein if you are half-half, there's a tendency to be, you know, to be really see as different. So, may ganong underlying personality, pinagdadaanan. She's really curious about her sister. Artistic siya, so creative side, nandoon siya sa aspect na yun. She's really imaginative. So
And she's younger.
She's younger, so
More in touch with her emotions
More in
than
touch.
the logical system.
yes,
Okay.
mas ganun siya. Oo. So she's more of that. And she tries to express that through her art. Hindi dahil artist ako, it's more of really something that I would like her to also embrace. Kasi mas personal yon, mas intimate siya na experience. Mas ganun siya.
Do you see yourself more in Reina or Ella?
I mean, in each particular characters, meron ako nun eh. So, teacher ako, I'm a teacher sa Asia Pacific College School of Multimedia Arts. So, mas logical ako at sometimes. Pag nagpipinta ako, mas emotional ako, ganyan. So, I think I can sort of balance that. Pero, yun, I gave that to each particular character. I placed myself in each particular characters. Pero sa Kono Basho, it's really the father that I
Identify with.
feel, yeah,
Okay. The archivist.
the archivist, somebody that that would like to talk to kasi meron akong anak, so I would like to talk to my son through this film. Na balang araw, of course, would be able to understand not just me as a filmmaker or the complex or things that na meron tong kwento na to. It's something that I would like to communicate with him. Ganyan.
Gabby, working with Arisa Nako, what did you learn? What skills did you pick up from her?
Oh my gosh.
That wasn't working with her.
Amazing.
Okay.
She's such a generous person. She's such a generous person on set and in real life. She's and so genuine. Like I mean, I worked for the film because we didn't have any shared history. So when I met her, it was already on set. But she is such a just a warm, inviting person that it was so easy to kind of just get to know her and work with her. But she's so young, but she is so intelligent as an actor also. So there's so much to learn from her. And it's so raw and so unadulterated yung emotions niya. So being in a scene with her, minsan you catch yourself watching and you forget, no, I'm in the scene too. But yeah, she's amazing. And I'm really excited na hopefully she'll be able to join us here.
Okay.
But yeah, it was such a learning experience being opposite to Arisa.
Yeah. Can you tell us the dynamic of the two sisters and
So,
how it evolves throughout the story?
Reina and Ella, yun nga, they're basically strangers. But there is this shared curiosity between them because nga, Ella sees her as the daughter that her father chose over her. In the trailer, she says, he wasn't able to come back for me because he chose to be here with you. So there's so much resentment from my character towards her. And then Reina naman, she really is curious to know because she also wants to get to know her father in this way, like the life that he had before he had her. But I feel like because of the circumstances they're in, they're very stunted and they're not able to, nahihirapan sila to connect.
Okay.
And so with Reina, it's through her art that she reaches out to Ella, and it's Ella naman through understanding where Reina is coming from and the community which she comes from. Now she gets a better grip of who she is, of who her younger sister is. And from mere strangers, they help each other through the most pivotal moments in their life.
Okay. Thanks. Okay. Jay, last question na lang. What do you want audience take away from the film after watching?
Well, I think yun nga, I mean, it's something that, it's a very simple and modest story, I think. It's not screaming to you that this is drama or parang it's really, it's very quiet for me, I feel that. At the same time, there's this concept of parang they're trying to find balance nga with each other. Life is like that. I think even in Rikuzentakata, I feel that we move forward. We always choose to move forward, but sometimes it's hard to choose that. Sometimes it's kala natin ganun siya kadali. So this particular film, I hope will be able to, talk to people who find themselves in that sense of grief, find themselves lost, yung mga, and realize that there will always be somebody that, that you can actually connect and find yourself with, and at the same time find meaning to move forward amidst the waves of emotions and
The personal tsunamis.
yes, the personal tsunami. So, importante din siyang pag-usapan
Yeah.
because sometimes with all of the things happening around us, nakakalimutan natin yung sarili natin. And it's something that will benefit a lot of people and, not just people but also or the community that you belong to if you yourself is whole. So, yan, katulad yan ang sinabi ko, it's the warm hug that you don't really want because you feel na, okay lang ako. Don't worry, okay lang ako. Pero when somebody hugs you, you break down. So it's something like that. We all need that, I think.
Okay.
Sa mga nangyayaring complicated things sa buhay natin.
Okay. Gabby, just last words about
I don't know. It is such a modest and simple story, and I think the beauty in it lies in its simplicity. And again, it's just a tale of loss, but it's also a tale of feeling seen. And for Ella, she felt seen by Reina, she felt seen by Rikuzentakata, and hopefully through watching the story, you also feel seen in your grief, in your loneliness, in your unbelonging, and hopefully we offer some comfort to whoever needs it.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you. Jay, Gabby, thank you for joining us
Thank you for having
afternoon.
us.
And we wish you guys a successful run. And please do invite the audience to watch the film and support Cinemalaya 20.
Tingnan mo na.
Hi everyone, we'd like to invite you to join us at the Cinemalaya Independent Film Festival starting August 2 to 11, and you can watch Kono Basho at the following cinemas.
The main cinema is Ayala Mall, Manila Bay. We also have in Trinoma, Greenbelt, Market, and UP Town Center. So you can actually check the schedules at Project 8 Projects, social media sites, and also Cinemalaya.
Okay, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And to everyone who tuned in, thank you for watching. If you want to continue the conversation, please download the Rappler Communities app and join us on the Pop Culture channel. I'm Gelo Gonzales. See you another time.